Hey guys, how's it going? We're gonna do a little live stream of the GameStop shareholder meeting. They're not allowed to have cameras in there. I'm just streaming the Super Stonks live stream of it. They have people at the shareholder meeting that are, I don't know if they're gonna be relaying in and out and basically feeding us information on vote count and this sort of thing. But I'm just gonna watch it for now and watch the ticker too. Yeah, welcome back. Here we go. This is if you're watching this and it's not live, this was on June 9th, 2021. And GameStop is potentially at the beginning of a very big short squeeze.
You didn't even make an effort to make sure that you could borrow them. And so there are so many of these companies.
This is Adabit. He's the one that wrote House of Cards, everything short,
chairman of
a lot of big
Interactive
DD
brokers coming out and saying, what did he say? Like, no, this is impossible, or
this can't happen.
Borrowing guidelines, and it's like, dude, BS, okay? Because every single one of these, I mean, I've got a list. This is that entire, yeah. These are my House of Cards notes. 15 pages here, and on literally every other one, I've got underlines like failure to deliver, fail to deliver. Trying to get my camera set up. All of those fail to delivers are accompanied with a failure to borrow. So this is Dr. T's book, right? And this is why everybody up to this point knows that these guys are just pulling stuff out of their butt, because it's the same system, and we know it now. So you're marking a stock as short or as long when it should be short, and then you're not even making sure that you're borrowing the share before you do that. Because think about it, if they went and they actually made the effort to borrow a share, you're creating a paper trail that you actually borrowed the share, or at least there's the assumption that you can find the share. But if you borrow that and then you turn right around and you mark it as a long sale, there's an immediate contradiction. However, if you fail to locate the share, you're still in the dark. If you don't let anybody know that you've located this share, then you're in the dark. So it makes it easier to mark it as a long, because nobody's going to say, it'd be like, it would be like, I don't even know a good example to describe it, but
it's a difficult subject to actually concise really quickly into something understandable.
Yeah, just off the top of your head. But the point being, the best way, and the way that you should do this, the way that you should go about it, is if you're shorting a stock, you need to find a borrow. You need to make sure that the borrowed stock is actually there and available. And then you have to mark that stock. Once you sell it, you have to mark it as a short sale. Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't borrow the share and you mark it as a short sale, FINRA is going to come right behind you and say, okay, you sold this, but where's your borrow? Where's the proof of borrowing? So the easiest way for these people to get through or get away with all of this is to not only mark the sale as a long share or a long sale, but to also fail to locate it, because there's literally no paper trail at that point. And then by the time this thing hits a fail to deliver, however long, there's such a small amount of paperwork to document. Was that a fail to deliver for a short position? Was it a fail to deliver for a long position? Because now you have these weird, like, why should you fail to deliver on a long position?
It's failing to deliver on every side at this point.
On every side. So the fact that people have this information now and they can see what we saw yesterday, and they can put two and two together, and they're just like, that's why I said I was zen with all this. It's like, dude, we're in such a good position, because they can't do anything more than what they're doing right now, and we know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I just wanted to jump in and speak a little bit about the shareholders meeting and what to expect, because I think that's important, given that it's happening soon, and this is something new for a lot of APEs. So if we could just pull up what we just had about the 8K.
Here's the GME ticker over here.
8K filing.
Actually holding up pretty strong.
The vote tally. So normally what will happen at a shareholders meeting is votes will, people will vote. but there won't be an official vote count right away because all this is done by a third party. So last year, if we scroll down a little bit so this is a Form 8K that Gamestop filed last year. And if we scroll down a little bit more, it should be, yep, right there. So it's like that first part right there, where it says on June 12, 2020. So last year, the company's shareholder meeting was held on a Friday, and the voting company, or the company that was auditing the votes, was First Coast Results. And they didn't provide the final vote tabulation until June 17th, which is 3 business days after. And then GameStop filed their 8K the next day, which is this right here, with the final vote count. So last year there was about 66% votes coming in of the total shares. So we can expect the same thing this year. And I believe someone, I can't remember who, contacted GameStop, and they received an email. And in that email response, they basically said the same thing, that they'll be filing an 8K within 4 business days. So we shouldn't expect any, big news today at the shareholder meeting with respect to votes.
Yeah. So these shareholder meetings are usually these high-level summaries of what the company's outlook is and what actions they're planning to take. So you may get some little Easter eggs as far as them giving hints to what might be coming this year, things that are coming out soon. But as far as the nitty-gritty details for those that are waiting for someone to be like the short position, the short interest, you're probably not going to get that. I highly doubt it, even with the circumstances this year. You may get a little breadcrumb as far as the voter turnout. They might be like, we had a really good voter turnout or something. But as far as the details of that, you're right. I think you need to look at that 8K, which should be out within a few days after the meeting. The biggest thing, I think one of the biggest things I'm looking for out of the shareholder meeting is the overall direction of the company. What are their plans going to be? Are there going to be any changes with the?
Hey guys, is it working or is it offline?
I'd like to hear them talk about e-commerce and what their plans are for e-commerce, in particular, utilizing the supply chain that they have. So GameStop has a really tight supply chain with, even with PC parts, to allow people who are in the PC building demographic to give them some more info, just stuff like that. I'd love to hear more about that, what they can make available.
I don't know if they're actually going to get into that much detail at the shareholders meeting. I believe
they may not.
Well, I think that's going to be happening later today at the earnings conference call.
Yeah, I believe so. I also believe that we'll hear in some shape, way, or form today.
Yeah.
I remember that GameStop had a deal in place with Microsoft, and E3 is supposed to hit next weekend. I'm expecting to hear something more about that deal coming out either today or the coming weekend.
Look, I can. I'm just gonna find this link so I can pull it up. But at GameStop, like the shareholder meeting, where is it here?
Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This might be exciting. It might not be. But thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the viewers. We'll see what's going on here. GameStop's actually looking pretty strong, which is interesting. This isn't from possibly margin calls that were being covered yesterday, like we saw this crazy price action with all this volume. This is yeah, I don't know. This isn't bad. Our options, if you're wondering, they're holding up pretty well. It's crazy. They expire in what, 2 days, and they're like double the price threat right now almost. Crazy. All right, we'll get back to this.
Down to page 3. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
No, a little bit up. Yeah. So this is basically the notice of annual meeting. This is the only thing that's going to be discussed at this meeting today. So the purpose of this meeting will be to elect 6 directors, provide an advisory non-binding vote on the compensation of the named executive officers, ratify the committee's appointment of Deloitte and Touche. So basically, Deloitte and Touche are the auditors. So what happens is at every publicly traded company or any company that has a board, the board of directors has to vote on, or the shareholders have to vote on who's going to be the auditor. So they're going to vote to make Deloitte the auditor for their next financial statement, like their next annual statement, the 10K, and conduct transact such other business, if any, as may properly come before the annual meeting and at any postponement or adjournment of the annual meeting. So I don't think that they're going to discuss anything other than what is here. It's basically just going to be a simple vote, a simple ratification, perhaps maybe answer some questions. Now, shareholders who are present will have received an agenda. The agenda would probably look something similar to this, but it won't be too different. So the kinds of things that we are looking for, you know, the news about e-commerce or website development or acquisitions or mergers, I don't think we're going to get that today. In 15 minutes. I think we're going to get that in the earnings call.
Yeah, she's right. Typically, it's earnings calls where we're going to talk about announcements. But I also read that the shareholders that are there at the shareholder meeting are going to be able to see the vote count, see if they talk about that.
As many specific numbers as they can give, you know. But really looking forward to hearing what's going on with earnings.
What happened to no dates, Addo?
No what dates. Do you mean with no dates?
No numbers. I'm just teasing.
Oh,
no dates, no salary.
No, yeah, no. I'd really love to hear if they could give breadcrumbs, like, you know, because they're going to record the vote, and it would be interesting if they could say what the pre-vote count has been. I don't think we're going to get it, but
here's the hoping.
Here's the hoping.
I mean, I think it would be amazing.
What's up, Manu?
If someone
What's up, Tom?
Jumped out of a giant birthday cake, but I don't think
that's
Admire.
What's up, Tom? What's up, MD?
I think that this meeting is going to be as boring and dry as usual. I mean, that's usually how these things are.
That's true.
Because we also have to remember that while we are interested in this, and we as an online community, we have our jokes and our memes.
They did say that there's people at the shareholder meeting though that are going to come and like report live with Superstonk. So I'm kind of waiting for that. I don't know if they're gonna be running back and forth, because right now they're set up across the street because GameStop said don't film on the property. So they went across the street, and I think they're setting up. Yeah, you can see on the bottom ticker our live streamers are setting up. Please stay tuned. But I think they actually have people there that are going to be updating us with what's going on as much as they can. I guess there might be some disclosures where they can't say. There might be non-disclosure agreements or something like that, but might get something.
Going to say and how they're going to say it, and yeah.
They're basically going to have, like, everything that they're saying, I guarantee you, will have been written by their lawyers, and they're basically going to be reading off of a script. Like, they're not going to say or do anything out of the ordinary. I don't think it's going to be. There's nothing. I mean,
there's nothing special going to go.
I don't think there's anything special that's going to happen here, because, like you said, Ren, they want to make sure that nothing they say or do could be used potentially against them in any future litigation.
So we had someone throw up a question about them being able to. So once the vote comes through, and I'm assuming this is what the question was saying. Once the vote comes through and they elect the directors, if they decide to then do a recount, the decision for those directors would be held tentative, correct? And pending the results of the recount.
So yeah, well, yes and no. I mean, if we could just pull up.
What are we
Um,
looking at?
Sorry, I love that bandana. Okay,
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that dude's awesome.
This dude's awesome.
Yes and no. So normally, if the
I don't know if these are pictures from the
if
shareholder
the
meeting
vote
or
was
what.
contested, so let's say that there were more directors who were running for the board than positions were available, or let's say there were, someone who wanted to be chairman or whoever. If there was a contested vote, then there could be the potential to have like a share recall or a vote count or something. But in this case, because the vote is uncontested and they're basically running a slate, regardless of whether or not there is overvoting, I'm like 99.9% confident that the board will be elected. So,
But that's assuming that they won't say they can choose not to accept the vote.
well, I mean, so they could choose
It's
not to accept the number of votes. So they could come back and say, look, the number of votes is inaccurate, or we have more votes than shares available. However, that would not necessarily impact who gets elected.
also
That
from
would-
a from a legal point of view, if you look at number 2, providing an advisory non-binding vote, that means that they can basically take the votes that they have received, and the board themselves can make a decision based on the numbers they have received, be it exceeding the float or not exceeding the float. At the end of the day, it's an advisory vote that we're casting as shareholders. They are in no way legally obliged to uphold
Guys,
our votes.
sorry to interrupt. Apparently, the
Okay.
meeting started,
Meeting
and
is
George
started.
Sherman is welcoming everyone in the main room.
Okay, real quick. Let me see. Can you quickly tell us predictions for the meeting? I think typically shareholder meetings are pretty boring. If we do see big price action or announcements or news that would affect the stock, that would probably be after hours, which is when the earnings come out, and then also their earnings call. And I think typically that'll be more eventful. But I don't know. Maybe the shareholder meeting will have something. If you listen to last earnings call, it was at the with the prior CEO. It was very boring, and yeah, I think that was on purpose. They weren't trying to hype anybody up. You did stumble upon mod stream. I don't know what a mod stream. I don't know. Yeah. So I believe also I read that also, Cole, and I think it said 4 days after they have to make it public, at least by 4 days after. So not meaning that it can't come out earlier, but I think they have to release the. From what I read too, yeah, I read that one also. Okay, it's legend. Presidential election. Oh my gosh.
I mean, if
That's
it's
the
not
official. That's the official stream from the GameStop.
out, oh my gosh, let's go ahead
webcast.
and stream it.
Wait, is Gamestop streaming? What? I'm gonna pull that up for sure.
Red.
I mean, I guess they're pulling up here. I didn't think they were gonna have anything.
Okay, so while we get the stream set
Yeah, it'll
up,
take a second or so.
yeah.
This will be like Inception. This will be a stream and a stream and a stream.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this for a whole 5 months, yet
A
it feels
stream.
like years.
Within a stream.
know.
Within a stream.
Exciting times right now.
Oh, does anybody have a
So
link to that?
While we're waiting for that to, there we go.
Oh, webcast.
Yeah,
All right.
click on the close, and there's a browser behind it. There we go.
All right. We'll watch a stream and a stream and a stream. 2021.
It'll still be a couple of moments, so.
Okay, so George Sherman probably got there. Okay, he's welcoming the main room. I see. Okay, so obviously he's in the room, getting set up, getting ready. So it will start right at 11. That makes sense. I was surprised when I heard that it was going to start early because when
That's normally not a thing. Yeah.
So while we're waiting for that stream, so I just want to continue a little bit about what Addo was saying about overvoting. So, I mean, obviously the board, it's not contested.
In case you like to stream, we want to
they're
give you a
gonna be
stream
voted
in your stream in your
no matter
stream.
what. The only issue really is the number of shares. So I just want to scroll down to the end part, like under the heading that says, okay, so how does this help? I cross-posted this, so yeah, right there. So this post was written by someone named Grace Sweats Every Day, and he's one of the lawyers that I met way back when I first started posting, along with Legalese. And Grace Sweats Every Day is actually a U.S. securities lawyer, so he knows his stuff.
Okay.
There's another user actually, Captain's Log. She's also a securities lawyer, and so I always pay attention to their posts because they know what they're talking about. So about a month ago, Grace Sweats wrote this excellent DD about the shareholder vote and what to expect if there's overvoting. So, this is why I think people hate lawyers, because sometimes we're party poopers. But I think it's important that we keep ourselves grounded and manage our expectations.
I know.
So, yeah. So what he's saying is that if he was, on their board, or if
Look at the volume today, guys. That's crazy. I mean, that kind of goes to the thesis that Adabit was sharing about yesterday. There was a margin call maybe here and on Friday, and they had to do some covering on Monday, which is why we had so much volume, so much price action. And then they just re-shorted it, either that one or another one, back down as much as they could. But we're still grinding up. I mean, we're holding this this short-term moving average like crazy. I mean, this is why the contracts are holding up somewhat, even though they're way out the money. Look on the daily, it's crazy also. We're a little more overextended on the daily, but so today's the last day that I kind of have hope for this failed to deliver convergence run up, because it's the 11th day. Not to say that by Friday it won't be at $1,000 a share, but I'm going to be scaling back on my options just because that was one of the things I was kind of banking on for this week. Of course, the shareholder meeting, earnings call, and all that, and all the announcements, that could bring a lot of price action, but that could honestly go either way with price action. It could go up a lot, it could go down a lot. Holding positions through earnings is typically pretty risky, just because even if earnings come out and kills it and beats it and it does really well, stock can still plummet, and vice versa. If earnings come out really bad, stock can rip. So it really, holding through earnings is it's a risky game. You can make big gains on it, but that's only because there's a lot of volatility around earnings. Typically you have big moves, but so I'll probably be scaling out. If I was hoping today would rip up, honestly, and it still could, but with this, I mean, it hasn't happened clearly, and it's not going to if we keep this volume. And the fact that Bitcoin hasn't been crashing, market hasn't been crashing, I mean, nothing's setting up for it, and maybe it'll happen simultaneously again, or maybe it's one or the other. But yeah, we'll get back to who's speaking. I am. Welcome, Sasha. They will announce nothing special. Yeah, I think Sherman will be out. Shareholder meeting typically not very special. That's true. They just said, I guess they're not having a webcast from the shareholder meeting. Text to speech. Yep. All right, we'll get back to what they were talking about.
Okay, so apparently Pink has arrived at the shareholders meeting, and she's on the phone with Pink, and Pink says that she talked to corporate, and corporate at GameStop know who we are.
Wow.
That's exciting.
Ryan, if you're watching, send help.
Ryan, if you're watching, let us please stream shareholders meeting, or or give us something.
Please, chairperson.
If you need a Canadian lawyer, let me know. Also, you should probably rebrand EB Games to GameStop. And we are always last to get the banana plushies here in Canada, so please help us with that as well.
Notice me, senpai, basically.
Basically, I still can't believe he retweeted that.
The meme from Butt Farm.
Oh my gosh, I didn't want to say his name.
I wanted to give him a shout out anyway because he's been doing so many memes for the community. He's been such a good guy, and basically, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to everybody that's part of the community, who's being excellent, who's doing memes, and on especially Butt Farm 69, dude. Thank you so much, Cocaine Kramer. Thank you for the hilarious conversations you guys basically stir up. And we officially now have more apes in the stream than are in the building.
Whoa.
So yeah, if anybody's watching thinking, is it just me or a couple of people on the internet? No, it's thousands, if not millions.
Almost 24,500 people are watching us right now, Bren, talking. That's crazy.
Yep, I remember years ago when I had anxiety talking in front of 10 people in my class, so go figure.
Well, you know, the nice thing is that it's basically just, you know, me and you having a conversation kind of, and everyone's just like listening in. So, but this is great. You know what? Can I just say, when I first got involved and, you know, my sister introduced me to the sub. You know, I've been a Redditor for a long time. And, you know, I started familiarizing myself with everything back in February and was reading your morning post. And I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is great. Never in a million years would I have ever even imagined that 3 or 4 months later.
Who has positions on Clove and Wish? Be honest. It's okay. It's okay. I may or may not have some.
Years what I thought that like 3 or 4 months later, not only would I be part of a mod team of such an amazing community, but that I would be speaking with the anchor man for the Daily News. Like,
Because it doesn't include everyone.
It's just insane.
I know that's true.
So
a little bit, MD.
But yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and like you said, it's more
Those
than
are more common than
just the mod team and Red. I mean, yes, Red has been working insanely hard. And
yeah. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know if Sherman did anything to, like, sabotage the company. I did read stuff indicating that he did. That he was kind of just, I don't know, paying himself out and his homies in the company. But I don't know if all that was true. But yeah, any CEO that's basically keeping a company from going bankrupt, it's not a great CEO, given COVID. But
I was actually waiting for that.
options for Clove expired last Friday. No. Over Cloud is a pump and dump. Clove is a pump and dump. Wish is a pump and dump. These are all, I believe, hedgies pumping and dumping to build capital to be able to suppress GME longer. Not to mean that you can't make money with those, but just to kind of know. I mean, clearly, there was a lot of different IPOs and SPACs that did this exact same thing, where they just have sold off and heavily shorted, as you can see here.
On Wall Street Bets, they have a different community, they have a different ethos, they have a different mentality, and their vernacular and their way of communicating. And I'm not saying it's wrong; it's just different. And then you had RGME, which also had a different mindset, and now we have Superstonk, and we have a mentality of, you know, you don't rip each other apart. Even, for example, I have no stake in AMC. I know other people have.
Michael, do you still have your Clove? Clove calls?
Basically divide the apes. You're either AMC or GME. And I personally spoke to a couple of them, like, dudes,
You're probably right, Cole.
If you enjoy AMC and you see value there, go do it. Why do you need the opinion of somebody else? We're all apes, you know. Different trees, different
low
branches.
volume for
At the
sure.
end of the day, do your thing.
Different trees, different branches.
In GME specifically.
I'll turn them up. You can hear
But
this guy.
there are other people who believe in other things. And the thing is that normally people would be at each other's throat, but I think the great thing that happened with our sub is that everybody went like, yeah, okay, I don't like seeing another stock mentioned on this sub, but you know what? Good for you. And when AMC rallied a week or so ago, they basically said, "Okay, I'm glad for AMC. You know, I
I
have
had
no
Clove a
dog
while
in this
ago.
race or no horse in this race, but I'm glad for them that they've made money on it." And that's the mentality that I actually really like. That they're not knocking each other; they're helping each other.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you know, it's all coming from a place of supporting each other. And even when you look at the DD,
Holding
it's coming
support,
from all these
Clove.
different angles.
Clove's holding
And
support above
you
that,
know,
that moving average.
we're
See what
all
happens.
supporting each other, and people are asking questions.
I mean, this was a pretty epic move
And
already.
you know, it's just amazing to see how inclusive everyone
That's why I liked
is.
Wish. Wish hasn't done
I've
this
seen
yet.
some. So Pink is getting set up. She's gonna be able to get started soon. In the meantime, apparently there's a new DFE tweet. Am I reading the comments on YouTube right here?
Let us check.
Crazy candles. New DFE tweet. Ah!
Yeah, he tweeted 4 minutes ago.
Oh my goodness.
Calling it
minutes
heads or
ago.
tails from No Country from Old Men.
Ooh, we should put that up. Play that.
Get a copyright strike. I'm muting you if you do. Don't you dare.
Let me get Red's on it. So
Awesome.
guys,
I guess it doesn't
quick,
matter. This isn't. I don't think it's
quick thing.
monetized
Okay,
anyways.
let's watch this first.
Oh, it's silent.
The volume on that.
It may be for the stream, but we're not hearing it most likely.
That movie is crazy, man. I actually didn't like it that much. I don't know. I like artistic movies like that, but that one was.
That's it.
That's it. Just call it. So if we go through some of the comments below, someone is wondering if this is a margin call. Someone commented.
Called it a vote.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. No country for short hedges.
Oh, I love this community.
Absolutely, Michael.
Yeah, so that
DFE getting hired. He could consult for them. I don't know what position he would.
Yep. Let's.
I can't
let's
call
I don't know what he
it
consult
for
on,
you.
but
It wouldn't be fair.
where to allocate
Yeah,
GME funds.
Give me a margin call. So Pink is giving us a few updates. Meeting is going on right now, but we're waiting to get permission to even get information.
It's true. It's true, Cole.
And stream something or share something.
I'll pull that up real quick. Talking about the OBV.
GME coin call.
You know me.
Oh, someone said
It's the
GME
OBV.
coin. GameStop coin? Okay.
Oh, GameStop coin.
Yes, the NFT.
The NFT. Yeah.
This is what you're talking about.
That's the thing.
And it actually, it's crazy. Actually, upticked even.
I've tried looking into it. I tried.
Just in this time.
Actually, engrossing myself into the entire
Social media.
Bitcoin thing,
I
and crypto
know.
and Ethereum and Doge and all that other.
I don't see why he would really want to work.
Honest, I have no idea what's going on.
I don't know why DFV would want to. That's why I think consulting were just like I don't know.
Years ago, as like a
But yeah, he could.
then,
Maybe he would.
I totally forgot that I had it.
This chick bought Doge
GME,
as a joke.
Sold my Doge
Oh my gosh.
for GME, so I could buy more GME.
How do these people accidentally just buy cryptos that go
for,
crazy?
like,
I didn't have that happen to
But I
me.
don't care. I mean, I bought that I think I bought that back in 2012 or something. And it was just like sitting there in a wallet that I completely forgotten about. So, yeah.
No,
I've sorry, yeah.
The thing is that what I was actually looking into, as far as I could understand, and there probably are going to be a lot of people who can are going to correct me on this, because again, I have zero actual knowledge of cryptocurrencies.
I liked Cohen Brothers
Bitcoin
actually.
is basically digital gold.
Most of
You
them.
store money there and it goes up. Ethereum is basically
We're just talking about crypto now.
technology, and that's most.
Only have the option for workhorse UAMY. Git? I've not even heard of those. Probably gonna go crazy, huh?
It's a non-fungible token, and what I
Geez, your whole
understand from
portfolio's in
that
options.
is that GME is basically
Ah, that is so sketchy, Manu. Hopefully it works out for you, buddy.
GME is in control of that, and they could use it for all sorts of different stuff. They can use it for the power-up rewards. They can use it for the for a crypto dividend if they choose to do so, or for something completely different, like for example, selling
Talking
digital
about
games.
using their coin.
And-
Yeah, well, so I think that's where they're going with this, because in one of my most recent posts,
People
where I was
talking
look- where I was
are
talking about
Rensel and
I think
Ellie.
you
I can't remember their
mentioned
names
in
on
your
Super
daily
Stonk.
news, Ren, it
This is a
was
Super Stonk live stream
comparing
of
GameStop
the shareholder
SEC
meeting. There's people at the
filings
shareholder meeting that
and
are
sort of
hopefully
the
going to update us
narrative
with.
of
Hopefully
when
going to update us with what's going on.
shareholders started shorting them, and now how their most recent filing changed the game. And one of the things, one of the common risks that they had, business risks that they had in their SEC filing, was the inability to sell pre-owned games or digital games. So this has been a common theme in their SEC filings, and I wonder. I'm going to see if I can pull that up.
Is that Korean?
And share that somehow. I have the post somewhere, because I think that's really. Ooh, I can share a Chrome tab. Thank you, guys. Can we just give a big shout out to Red here, because Red is basically behind the scenes, doing
as
everything as always, and running. Let me just go fix something here. Okay, so I'm gonna try and share a Chrome tab here.
Nice.
I wonder if I can
Tom, that's awesome. What's that cost basis then? Up 80%? Have you? Yeah, that means you haven't averaged in though either. Come on. When are you gonna average up?
Sales. Where do they talk about? Oh, video game industry, economic conditions. Here we go. I believe that it's this one. So let me just share the screen. Share screen. Chrome tab.
Lay it down.
Okay. So here, this is where we're comparing the business risks that GameStop files in their SEC filings every year. I'm just going to expand this and minimize. I'm just going to expand my Chrome tab here. So as you can see, some of the risks that they talk about is video game industry has been.
You guys are just getting here. We're watching Super Stonk's live stream of the shareholder meeting for GameStop in Grapevine. However, no one, I don't think they're allowed to stream in there, so yeah, basically there's people in there that are hopefully going to come out and relay information. From what I've read and heard, they're able to get a vote count if you're at the shareholder meeting. So I don't know if we potentially will hear a vote count today, maybe not. Other than that, I'm not expecting a whole lot at the shareholder meeting, but I guess you don't know, and it's exciting.
$778 outstanding shares, presenting more than the majority of all shares. Confirmed more than the majority.
What?
Yes, they are
What?
confirmed.
There, you heard it.
They just confirmed the number of
Oh
shares.
no, I'm
What?
sorry, no numbers. They have confirmed there is more, presenting more than a majority of the shares.
He said 700 million.
Seems that the number I previously gave, it might be from something else, because it's a busy conversation. It's going really fast. Again, trying to keep up.
Okay.
What number did you call me, Ruga?
So
I
more
don't,
than the
We
float
just-
is
it started-
outstanding right now. Sorry.
It
I
started.
don't even know what to say to that right now. Who confirmed
Okay, GME is
that?
running on that. It's going. Look
We
at that, no
have
volume.
a separate channel that
Oh.
we
Ren!
Oh my gosh, she's freaking out.
what?
Look at the price. Look at the stream.
Oh yeah.
Oh, so
Here we
this is
go.
hilarious. She's freaking out. Look at that price.
More than the outstanding shares as of right now.
Yeah,
because
that's running it
70
up.
million was available, and there are more than the available shares seem to be voted with. Confirmed more than the majority.
So
Again, I'm going off of
voting.
information that other people are feeding me. There are some people who are currently in the meeting or privy to
guess
the
that's more
information.
votes than shares. That's true. More votes than shares is insane because majority don't vote.
I just went to the Discord because I've been focusing on sharing this info. Okay, so Matt Wilder is the inspector of elections.
Wow, that happened quick, man. Yeah, the shareholder meeting started at 10:30. So it's only going to last another 10
70
minutes.
million was the amount of shares issued out at April 15th. And then what did we hear?
He said
That was somewhere
700
else?
million.
Where did you?
This is, you can go back.
Wait,
This is,
one second.
this will be.
Again, everybody watching, sorry for this, but a lot of things are happening at the same time.
Yeah, sorry guys. Neither of us were supposed to even be here right now, but we just jumped on and we're just trying to manage everything. And we're getting messages from all over, but we will.
This
There we go.
This live stream will be on, so
Thing
you
is,
can
we
rewatch it.
actually had some beyond the grounds. We have a Pixel and Pink Cats on Acid at the scene right now, but again, GameStop told us to not videotape inside it. We chose to actually respect that because,
Right, Nick?
let's be honest, we respect the company. We work within their wishes, and therefore everything is done
No way,
via
Cole.
text or stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a little bit slower than we actually hoped it to be, because we hoped Pink was able to actually be in there and do some sort of reporting. Unfortunately, we can't do that, so we're going old school. See us as your old school type of radio newscasters.
She's gonna lose it.
I did get an update from Red though that Pink was interviewed by CNBC.
Pink? No
I
way.
have a lot of things to say, and none of them are available to speak here in stream.
Oh, did you hear that? What? Okay. So yeah, they had to sign an NDA.
Okay. So
You said 700 million.
Getting updates,
But then he
here.
said that's
Why
not
is
right.
my
So maybe that was right though.
Discord being so
Announcement
slow?
from Ryan himself.
Oh. Okay, so while we're waiting for that announcement to come in,
Yeah,
they
JD.
announced how many votes for the board.
There's an overvote. There's more votes than shares, apparently. He did say something about 700 million. We don't know if that's true or not. But yeah, basically, votes also, typically you don't get as many votes as there are shareholders or shares. I don't know what percentage is if someone wants to look it up, but I'm sure it's less than the amount of shares. So even if it's whatever it is, the votes are going to be much less than the actual shares.
Of the board at GameStop.
700 million shares.
Congratulations, Chair Cohen.
Ryan Cohen is the chairman of the board.
Well earned.
I wonder if he's going to repeat that.
He said
that
700
chair.
million, but then he retracted, so not sure if he was not supposed
Seriously,
to say
after
that.
all this is over, I'm going to print that on a poster and send it to him.
I'm still waiting to get confirmation. I know everything is happening so fast here.
Morning.
I think Addo is going to jump back in now. I think his meeting is over. There we go. Welcome back, Addo.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, hey guys.
Wow, chairman.
Okay,
Yeah, maybe I will
so
skill out some options.
Ryan Cohen
think
just
I
said as... Oh, wait, sorry. I have to double check this.
Yeah, I jumped in right when you were giving that news.
So can you confirm?
Right.
what
Whoa.
votes?
Ryan Cohen just said, "As my dad would say, buckle up. Meeting is adjourned."
What?
Boom!
Yeah, I would.
Okay, so before this
As
is
my
taken
dad
in
would
too
say.
many ways, right?
Wait. First of all, I would
I can't
like to
scale
thank
out of these
everybody in the
options.
Spartan channel, everybody who was
Thanks for watching,
there
guys.
at the
Sub up,
meeting,
like up.
feeding us information
Comment down. Happy Money sticks around.
other people did not know yet. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
especially
Superstar.
Giant Space Member 593 and Attractor. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, everyone.
Man.
Oh my gosh, this has been surreal.
I mean,
And
the news just came out about that. It hasn't even gone anywhere, so
confirmation on.
it's going to take
what was
some
said
time for
about
that to
the
marinate.
votes
That could these
specifically.
options could actually go
Who
crazy by
said it
Friday.
and what was said.
As far as I can read from this, is that they're not giving out a vote count as of right now.
He
It's
said
happening a little bit
700
too
million.
fast. Tap. They announced how many votes for the board of Deloitte for accounting. Right, talking an announcement from Ryan Cohen himself.
5 point Hornets.
No vote count. He's speaking now, thanking us, chairman of the board. No picture. He's just on screen, just as a voice. As my dad would say, buckle up. And then we have a confirmation that RC indeed said, buckle up. Meeting was adjourned, and he thanked us all for being great.
Okay. Dude, that's killer. So yeah, before we get too hyped about
you
it,
go.
like buckle up can mean a
Brew,
boatload
that's awesome.
of things.
Yeah, it can mean bumpy ride. It can mean space jump. It can mean
it can
100
mean
things.
it can it can mean
Volatility,
direction of the
that's all that
company
matters.
is going to be,
But
it
I'm gonna be honest here. I'm bullish on it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, anything Brian Cohen said. I mean,
And let's remember, guys, Pink was at the meeting. She's getting set up, so she's going to be joining
Yes.
us soon to give us
Yeah.
all the details and updates.
Then I do should
Yeah.
buckle up.
Pink's hands are like
Oh no,
on fire.
not?
Shaking.
I thought she was at the meeting.
She is.
She had car trouble, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Oh, that's
no.
scary. There she is.
Hi guys!
Hi,
Surprise!
Hi, Pink.
I'm at Gamestop HQ with the apes.
She made it.
Say hi, everybody.
Oh, she is there.
We got Body
Okay.
Surf Dan.
Hold on. Okay, so hold on. Pink. Were you there?
Yeah, I've been here. I
Oh.
actually,
You're in the
the
meeting?
reason that I didn't get on the stream is because I was talking to CNBC.
Not advice.
No, that's totally fine. Glad
So
to hear
Super
it.
Stomp, say hi to CNBC.
Yeah, great.
So I heard that Cohen just adjourned the meeting with an inspirational quote from his dad. Is that right?
Yeah,
Buckle up. Let's go.
Woo!
man.
She can't
That's
say
crazy.
anything?
Okay, so can we get the
If you
breakdown
could.
of what
Yeah, if
know.
you were
These
there.
guys are selling
Switch my
bananas.
camera.
They're freaking shareholder meeting.
Wait on.
Hyperdrive.
Now we got Body Surf Dan on the cameraman. I want to show him the table though.
Oh my gosh. It's like,
Oh, bullish.
it's like
Love it.
it's like
We
a
need apes
freaking,
in the chairs though.
it's like
To be
Woodstock
fair,
out
can you
there.
guys sit down, please?
I like the
You guys make
Woodstock.
you make the scene.
That's awesome.
I like the stomp.
Oh my
Changed my
gosh.
mind.
Love it.
The stock market will
Okay,
never
so
be the
can we get a
same.
breakdown of what happened.
Forever changed.
Who said what about the votes?
Welcome to GameStop HQ, everybody.
So
Yeah.
what we have so far,
Did these guys hitchhike there?
some of the apes have been listening in, and I just caught the end quote from Ryan Cohen about buckle up. I did talk to some of the corporate over in the parking lot before it started. They were super cool, said we could stream here, very supportive. When I asked them if they'd ever heard of Super Stonk, he said, of course I've heard of Super Stonk. So
There you go.
looks like we got some more apes rolling up here.
Perfect. Let's see.
I'm just kidding. I look like more of a hippie than that guy. I probably would have hitchhiked there if I could find my sandals.
On it. Okay, I'm gonna kill my seed real quick. I'm gonna go over there. I'll be back.
All right. As far
Well,
as I
that's
can read from the Spartans page, again, guys, thank you very much. RC is not currently divulging his strategy, which is very cool in my opinion, because it's a secret recipe and he's not sharing it, which is usually, from my experience in business, it's usually good because something is brewing.
I play volatility news events often. I'm listening to news, multiple live streams when I'm trading, and typically when news comes out, you have things that shoot up, and I usually give it about an hour. This is totally different news because no one's heard of it yet, so it's hard to know how long this will take to marinate and if this will even get picked up. If CNBC will even pick this up and really spreads. If it really spreads, if there's an overvote, I don't see why this thing won't go insane in the next. I mean, really, it should be within an hour or so. It should start, but we'll see. If CNBC suppresses it, then I mean, it's gonna get out. It's gonna get out. It's got to. But I'm surprised. Actually, it hasn't already.
778 shares outstanding. What they issued present more than majority of all shared. Confirmed more than majority.
More than majority.
Okay.
So there are
There are more shares.
Yes.
There are more votes.
I bet just learned that.
That's 100%.
No, they confirmed there are more votes than shares.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's more than 100%.
Yeah.
If that's a direct quote, if you have that and that's sourced, that's it.
Yeah.
It's let me
Where was
you. Juggling four things.
That's what we're trying to confirm 100. Like that's what was
Yeah,
said.
more
We
votes
just
than
want to hear it from others.
more votes than shares is
now,
insane. That
no
means there's.
numbers were given, and this is why. Like we were discussing before.
Yeah, I like
the
YouTube, man.
shareholders
It'll probably just be like
It
streaming
must
stuff
have
from
misheard
my
it.
yacht.
It needs to be audited so that they can be 100% certain about this. Now again,
No, so
this is
hold
not-
on. So,
Yeah, I'll take some of those
we're
GME
talking
attendees.
also. We're talking about
I'll just
like.
give them to a charity,
did they say
probably.
more than the 70 million?
More
They
votes
s-
than shares outstanding.
More votes than shares outstanding. If that's what I'm saying. That's what we need to get clarification.
Yes.
Because if we're saying more than majority is just 50%.
No, it wasn't majority. They said more votes than outstanding shares.
Oh shit! That's huge. That's huge.
Again,
Out of it, just
we are
getting
currently
in.
still waiting on confirmation on this. We're going by secondhand information. Pink is currently live on scene, trying to find somebody
I'm gonna.
who was inside and who is.
All right, look for it on news, guys. Scan Twitter, scan CNBC. Look for some news. See if anybody's picking it up, and see how the stock price reflects that. If you see it on CNBC, this thing should go crazy.
I need to hear someone from GameStop say we had more votes than we had shares outstanding, and if I hear that, that's it.
Yup.
That's been us.
Getting a loan. Don't care.
Yeah.
When Ren first said that, Otto, I think both of us just like paused for 2-3 minutes, not knowing what to even do.
Yeah,
or
right.
say.
She screamed.
Because we were not expecting this. Normally, this stuff doesn't come out until 4 business days after.
Yeah,
But
you'll get the specifics in that 8K.
Yeah.
But it's a very vague way of saying or a very vague way of answering the question we all have, which is what was the voter turnout? And they're not going to come out and say it was exactly 145 or 420% more than shares outstanding. But what they can tell you is there were more votes than we have shares, and that's really all we need. Because that's going back to the 66% figure that we were looking at from last year.
Yeah, that's literally all we need. Because again, they can't give out numbers because there's liability here. So whatever numbers they give out will have to be audited by the auditing company. So that's why they're not giving out precise numbers. But
which is what Carl's job was, right? They find someone like Carl Hagberg. And they find someone like Carl to then come in and do an independent, especially for scenarios or situations like this when you have more. So
On this sort of stuff, I really think that GME kind of missed out on not just streaming this or having a voice thing streamable or something like that.
So there are a lot of people, and I guess I'm seeing a lot of people in chat right now that are saying the quote was not about I don't know. The quote was
Well,
not about being over.
Well, that's what we're trying to confirm because
Yeah.
we're getting messages and we just want to make sure that what we heard or what's being told to us is what was properly conveyed. I really wish, I mean, if Ryan Cohen is watching this, you know, maybe you should tweet Red Chest Queen, and at least maybe you can come on and give us the details. I think we would like that. Pink seems to have lost connection, so we're trying to see if we can get.
I'm just glad Pink's okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of concerned this morning.
Oh my gosh.
It turns out she's having a better time than all of us.
Yep. For the people not knowing, Pink, this morning we lost contact for about an hour.
So, if you do, excuse me, if you do believe that news, and it is going to go crazy, like I said, the news could take time to get out. And even after it gets out, it takes time to spread enough to where it'll cause price action. So if this does get confirmed, then yeah, I maybe I should. I mean, I should probably average on our contracts. Average up. It's like we haven't. This little bump was from it, but we haven't really seen price action from it yet. From them saying that there's an overvote. We're waiting.
Can we have the meetings over? Well, you know what? Someone posted this on Twitter, so it's fair game at this point. It's not like we did it.
No country for old hedge funds.
Somebody on the live feed is saying like,
Ooh.
Stephen Kelly is saying, parents are there, can confirm the quote was overvoted, more votes than shares.
Parents are there.
It's just one that I don't know. It's all hearsay.
Parents of apes.
Wait, let's pull up this Twitter link and see what this Twitter link is saying. I'm going to share my tab here. Give me one moment.
Thing about it is though, is even if this news does go good, they've typically, the hedges have shorted this thing hard after earnings, no matter what the earnings were. Not saying that they are going to do that because it doesn't make that much ammo, but it's potential I see after earnings. Earnings make stocks go up or down. Typically, they have the biggest jumps up or down. They don't usually stay flat. But even GME's earnings history, good or not, it's always tanked.
It's our boy.
He's like, I am not entertained.
Wait, let me see this other one here.
Yeah, the one below that one.
The one below that one.
No, below this one.
Yeah, there's another.
Yeah, there you go.
From the beginning.
Can't hear anything.
No.
Okay, let me try sharing my screen because I have it up as well. Maybe you guys will be able to hear it through the microphone.
Short destroyer.
All right, short destroyer, give us the sauce.
This is highly illegal. Let me find him.
Let me know when my screen is being shared.
A bunch of people are saying
Let me then add
so we just need a confirmation.
1 second.
It was nothing.
I mean,
It was
we
just
don't
them
have to
clapping
play it,
that
but
video.
We don't have to share it, but
No, people are saying it's breaking the rules and don't show the video and it's not legal and
It doesn't show it. You just heard it. It doesn't do
I
anything.
want to be if it's in from the shareholder meeting. That's why Pink was recording from outside the shareholder meeting. Can have. So basically, if shorts destroyer or shorts demolisher or whatever, if you're listening and you hear that, like you might want to just pull that off of Twitter. Avoid your lawsuit.
I
No,
just
I don't
watched
think
it.
it's a lawsuit thing. It's more of a showing respect kind of thing.
You guys can watch it. There's nothing there.
There you go. Don't be that.
It's
guy.
just
yeah.
the end, and he's
I
clapping.
mean, we thank everybody for feeding information, but at the end of the day, it's their company, it's their meeting, and we're going to respect that.
oh,
Hey, how about that price action though?
I know, right?
Did we hit 320? Did we break 320?
Oh, guys.
1999.
Oh, wait. No, wrong
Of
one.
course.
Sorry. I need to get off soon. Get to work.
There's nothing.
I can find
Oh, here's
something
another
here.
one.
There at GameStop.
Oh,
On a personal note, I want you to know I'm humbled to be elected to your board and serve as your chairman.
Because all we
We
really
have a
want
lot
to
of work in
do
front of us,
is to.
and it will take time. We're trying to do something that nobody in the retail space has ever done. But we believe we're putting the right pieces in place, and we have clear goals: delighting customers and driving shareholder value for the long term. The management team and refreshed board will remain totally focused on these goals at all times. We know some people want us to lay out a whole detailed plan today, but that's not going to happen. You won't find us talking a big game, making a bunch of lofty promises, or telegraphing our strategy to the competition. That's the philosophy we adopted at Chewy. Here are a few things we've done so far. Refreshed the board, added technology and retail experience to the leadership team, paid off all our long-term debt and strengthened the balance sheet, and begun laying the foundation for long-term growth. Moving forward, we want you to judge GameStop based on our actions, not our words. Thank you, everyone, and as my dad would say, buckle up.
That was that Ryan Cohen's voice? That's the most interesting thing to me. I didn't sound like him at all. I thought he'd have a much more much higher voice. That's weird. I've never heard him. All right.
More than a majority. If it outstands a float, it's still more than a majority. That's the legalese.
Well, but it was more than majority last year too.
Yeah.
So if there were more votes than shares outstanding, who's this guy?
We have Giant 110. I believe
Giant.
he was
Hello.
also in.
You're muted.
Giant,
Bro.
you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, we're just walking out. We're trying to find, was it Body Surfing Dan from the Discord?
Body surfing Dan.
But yeah, we just left.
How
the
was
meeting.
it?
Oh, it was exciting. Very short though.
Full pun intended.
Oh yeah. But
Okay. Were you in the room?
Yes.
He's
What
like, why did I drive?
Can you give us
6
any
hours?
confirmation about
Why'd I
what they
drive
said
6
on voter
hours for
count
this?
or share count? It's okay. It's okay if you can't. God, the tease is unreal.
What the heck?
Was it? They announced 70 million something shares were confirmed out by April 15th, which was the record date. And then afterwards, they had confirmed that, I think, what was the language? It was
Yeah.
majority
Yeah, there was a more than majority of the shares
voted.
Sorry.
More than majority of shares voted. So it wasn't more than the shares
majority.
outstanding voted.
Yeah, I'm not.
Right.
I'm blanking on the language just because. But yeah, it seemed like they had more.
Like they're trying to infer that there are more.
Yeah, it seemed like they were trying to infer that there were more than 70 million.
Okay, because
What?
that's the thing.
What was the
Inferring
language?
that there are more than 70 million versus more than a majority. Majority is 50% of the total vote. So if they're saying that there was a more than majority voter turnout, then they're just saying there are more than 35 million votes.
Yeah.
But again,
First-
if it exceeds the float,
Go
it's
ask
more than
him.
35 million. So that's the legalese. But
Go ask someone.
I also have from somebody else who was present,
What'd they say?
in person or by proxy, more than the majority of all shares that are entitled to cast notes. So
Yeah, that would be the same thing. That would be
Yeah.
more than 50% of the vote return. Okay. So we're going to have to look at the 8K. We're going to have to look at the
Yeah.
8K. And if it says anything under than 100%, I'm skeptical. I'll be honest with you.
likewise,
I don't know how I don't know how you can have that many traded and then the number of involvement and activation that we've had within the voting community to go out and vote. I mean, we've had brokers turn on the ability to vote for people that haven't been able to vote in the past.
Yeah, that's the
I
thing.
think
How do you
Shorty.
have any-
Hi. How are
There.
you doing?
How you doing, dude?
Doing well.
Hello.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting meeting. I heard 53 million at one point. I can't really confirm what that was, but somebody actually wrote down the actual like transcribed what they said. Let me see if I can get it for you. Let's see.
Okay.
Just lost him because.
Yeah, it seems that the connection there is a real problem.
Yeah, why didn't they just type it out on their phone if they couldn't record it? Yeah, transcribe it. Transcribe the whole meeting.
This has me like I'm sweating.
Did no one have a pen and paper and just write something down? Oh my gosh, guys, I'm literally like scrolling through
Bunch of apes.
Twitter
I don't know how to
right now,
write.
trying to see if I can find some updates. But I feel like this is what it must be like to be like a news panel on CNN or
This
somewhere.
is what it's like to be a teacher when you say there's a pop quiz coming and no one takes notes.
This is the one piece of info that we need to know is what was said specifically about the vote count.
As soon as we tried to get Shorty in here, hold on, Red's saying the location the apes were at were kicked out, being private property. They don't really want media there. Wow, that's great. So
Look
okay,
at us, we're the media now.
yeah. GameStop did suggest a setup there, and then somebody told them that it was private property. Okay, all right. So regardless, aside from all this, they're gonna go find a new spot to set up at. That's what's really coming down to. So if they did give, if what Shorty was saying was true, and they did give some sort of vote, like number tally for the vote being at 53, I'm still skeptical about it. I don't know how I don't know how everybody wasn't jumping all over that figure. If
He might have misheard or something like that. But if I look at what Lurie has presented earlier, normally you don't give out the numbers on a shareholder meeting. Therefore, I don't expect them to be there or being said. And I expect them in the 8K in a couple of days. But even if they come back saying, yeah, we only got 100%, how many people have doubled their position since 15th of April? I know I have. So,
yeah.
We also have to remember that there's the total share number available, but there's also the float, right? Because you have, oh, what's this?
that's from somebody from the Discord that says there are present at this meeting in person or by proxy more than the majority of all the shares than that are entitled to cast votes. Sorry.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Because I was
That's
just going to say, you have, institutional holders as well. You have people with shares who are not entitled to vote. So what they're saying is that of the number of shares that can be voted, we have more.
Yeah.
More than the majority of all shares that are entitled to cast votes.
It's still ambiguous to me. It's still ambiguous. It's like no matter what way you try, but it could go either way that way, right? It's better. It's different than saying we received less than the total votes outstanding.
This is just legalese at this point.
Yes, this is yeah. It's a CYA thing. We'll get the numbers on the 8 or on the K.
Yeah. This is literally them. So again, this is them communicating not just to us, but to shorters that they are aware of what is going on. And this is them basically saying, we know what's going on, but we need to make sure that it's properly audited by a third party because anything we say or do could be used against us in court. So this is them sending a message to us to let us know that we've done our job. more than the majority of all shares that are entitled to cast votes, that's pretty big. That's
Mhm.
pretty big. So I think this is all the confirmation bias we really need.
Hold on. Hold on.
I'm wondering if Giant
Giant.
is able to give us a summary of the meeting experience, like a walkthrough, you know, kind of going through the whole thing so that apes can know what it was like.
Yeah, sure. So essentially showed up about an hour early and it was already getting pretty packed there. It was GameStop was very accommodating. All you had to do was show your some sort of indicator that you were a shareholder and your photo ID. Walked in, said hi. They wrote down some of your information, got a seat. If you're lucky enough, you got a little swag bag, which is nice. And yeah, we just kind of hung out for about an hour until they started the meeting. At which point, George Sherman very kindly got up and said, "Thank you all for coming." And essentially, they just went through a few legalese basis of like, hey, we're starting the meeting, appointing, running through the different agenda, which was just the 3 items you had to vote on: the board of directors, the
compensation
for the board, and then what is it? Appointing that firm.
The auditor.
Yes.
Renewing their auditor, Deloitte.
And that was pretty much the meeting. And
then, a bit, he knows so much.
At the very end, Ryan Cohen, they announced to the board, like, do you have anything else you would like to say? Ryan Cohen took the mic, or took the Zoom mic, and went through saying, can't give out any details. We don't want to actually, show our hand. You want to be very, you didn't want to show his hand in terms of business strategy quite yet. He knows we're all excited, wanting to know what GameStop's going to do. And then, but I think someone wrote down the quote very well. It was, he said something from his dad was, sit down and buckle up.
Get ready, awesome. Buckle up, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick question then. In order to validate the vote, they have to have more than 50%, right?
I'm not sure about that because I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I haven't read.
No, it was more directed to.
What do you mean by validate the vote?
So if you have a vote, and I mean, in order to confirm the vote, doesn't there have to be a majority turnout?
No, it only depends on whether or not the vote is contested, right? Like if you're voting in a number of people and it's an uncontested vote, I mean, all you need is one vote for them to be voted in.
Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out why they would say what they said then. What information could that be provided? Like, where would be the benefit in saying we had more than 50%?
Well, they said
at this point in time, from a legal perspective, they have to announce if they had a low show up of votes or a high show up of votes. This was high. Because even if you look at the situation, a lot of apes could not vote right now. But in the end, a lot of people have voted because a lot of people are now involved with the company. And there is more than a majority. And that's legalese basically saying, okay, screw it. We have more than a majority. Because if you have a float of 35 million or 40 million or 50 million, you have half of that. And you have one vote over, you have to say we have a majority of the vote. But at the same time, if you have, for example, a total amount of outstanding shares of 70 million, but 100 million have voted, you still have a majority of the vote because you can't get into specifics until you have them audited or formed in your 8K.
Okay.
At least that's what I've come to understand.
Right. Also, during the meeting, they did go over when they were going through the different items that were voted on. I don't think they gave a percentage for the board in terms of who voted, but I'm pretty sure for the second item, the compensation, they had said something over 90% of people had voted in favor.
So that's just saying of the votes, you have 90% voting in favor. That's
and that was just, I think, legalese and ceremony of saying yes, this is approved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, cool. I'm just gonna wait for the 8K and look at the number as it comes out.
Giant,
So-
while I have you here, with I've heard a couple of things about Matt Wilder being the auditor of the company or the inspector of elections. Did you hear anything about that?
Yes, he was announced. The general counsel or the head general counsel said appointed Matt Wilder as auditor of the vote.
Okay, thank you. Because I've heard a couple of conflicting things. I saw Twitter, I saw Discord, I saw a couple of others, and
Good news is Brian Cohen is now chairman of the board. That has gone through. Sounds like he had 90% of the vote to put him in that position. All we've heard though is that a majority of the shareholders, there's over a majority that voted. That makes sense. Yeah. Over a majority of the shareholders voted. So that could be anything over 50%. So 200%, 1000%, whatever.
Himself as a chair, right? Or why would GameStop post a picture of an astronaut on the moon? I think all of this is their way of communicating with us. I mean, I think ever since Ryan got involved, there's been a fundamental shift in communication.
Yeah.
And this is their way of letting us know that we know what's going on. We are aware and we recognize you, and we acknowledge you.
So the long story short, what I'm looking for is it doesn't have any semblance, or it doesn't have any. It's just literally is what it is, and I'm gonna look at what comes out.
Phrase. But yeah, Adabit's right. 8K, and then also actually earnings after hours today could be huge. Not only just the earnings number, but the earnings call. They could announce stuff then. That's more typical, I think, than at a shareholder meeting.
What I know that, so again, this is reading between the lines. So if you look at what they said, they did not say that there was an overvote. However, what they did confirm is that there was not an undervote. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So without actually saying it, because one of our, I guess, biggest concerns was what happens if
not enough people can vote.
Exactly. So they have basically confirmed to us that that is not the case.
I'm surprised Ryan Cohen actually wasn't there in person. Busy guy, but that seems weird. I don't know. That's weird. I just want Ryan Cohen to tell me what to do with my calls. If I sell them? If I average up? Come on.
Damn.
I saw that George Sherman was the sitting CEO at the time.
Did they specifically say he is the sitting CEO?
No, he just announced himself as CEO of GameStop because I don't think they had taken that away from him yet.
Okay, it's just getting the wording right.
But that wouldn't be something to be discussed at the shareholders meeting anyway, because that would be a decision that the board would make, the board of directors.
Yep, I'm just making sure that if anything like that announced, because I can see a lot of questions popping up through the high-speed YouTube comments about CEO. So I thought just ask it and people will know.
That would be something that the board determines, and then they would issue a press release if that was the case. I just want to respond to some of the comments. Some people are saying that what I said is not 100% true. So can we pull up the quote again? Because I want to analyze this, and I want to explain my reasoning behind this. Because GameStop seems to be very good at sharing information by not saying things. And one example is when I initially analyzed their 2020 SEC filing versus their 2021 SEC filing. Yeah, the napkin quote, please.
Right? Yeah, we do. It's just it's knowing when and how high and how much, and we've been on this train for 6 months or 5 months or however long, and it's crazy. Yeah. I think it's affecting the whole market, and that's that's the scary thing, is what are the repercussions with this, and what happens overall in a broad sense on a macro level with GameStop, and how much it's shorted, and how much that will affect the whole market. I don't know.
More than the majority of all shares that are entitled to cast votes. So what's important here is shares that are entitled to cast votes. So
Yeah, for sure. We weren't expecting anything at the shareholder meeting. The fact that they even said there was an overvote of the majority.
So this is again, I mean, I'm looking at Investopedia right now. It's literally just confirming that a controlling interest has cast their vote. Like the decisions that were made were done by a controlling majority interest of the company. It has nothing to do with taking the number of votes that were actually made and comparing that to what's on this napkin. It's literally just saying, thus somebody owning more than 50% of a company's shares can affect the majority of the vote and is said to have controlling interest in the firm. That's literally all it's saying, that they're confirming that the votes that were cast were more than the majority of shares that were available, or votes.
Right, but I think the question here is, which shares are entitled to cast votes? Because there's a difference between the total number of shares versus the float.
So now you're getting into common stock and like preferred stock or different classes of stock. As far as I know, the common shares outstanding with GameStop are all voting eligible. I don't think they have any preferred shares outstanding.
I think at this point in time, GameStop cannot neither confirm nor deny the number of votes that we have received as a company.
So we have a few comments here. So one person is saying more than the majority of all shares. So, I mean, some people think that's more than 100%.
That makes over 1 million.
But again, I mean, that could be 50 plus 1.
Yeah, no, it's good. They announced Ryan Cohen is the chair, chairman of the board, which is good. Ryan Cohen said buckle. Whoa, spies dumping. Ryan Cohen said buckle up, and they said a majority of the shareholders voted. That's how I understand it. And I don't know what the typical stats is with votes. Like I said before, typically not all shareholders vote. It's probably a minority usually, I would say. And it being a majority, I don't think they're saying well, Spy is really dumping here. Is there news on this? Shopping Center, President Biden's reversal of TikTok ban? No. No, that's not it.
Because we still have
2 hours, right? Jesus.
Yeah, we've almost hit the 2 hours mark.
The earnings tonight, and then the earnings call is going to be big.
Going over the earnings call and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I'll be in that too.
We could stream the earnings call.
Likewise.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Awesome.
Right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Super Stonk. You guys go sub to them too.
See you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Giant. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. So, yeah, like I was saying, I mean, it's good. It's good. Buckle up. I like that, but it's not. We didn't hear that there was more votes than shares. We heard there's a majority of the shares have voted, which that might be a crazy stat in itself, because like I said, typically we don't get that. But you have to imagine with everyone in Europe and all that, where they don't usually vote. They weren't even allowed to. They had to literally make up new ways and hassle their brokerages to let them vote. I mean, you guys know, you guys are from Europe. Anyways, I actually have to run. I'm trying to sell a house to buy GameStop. No joke. Signing on it right now. Sub up, like up, comment down. Happy Money sticks around. I'm going to put up a video. We'll live stream maybe the earnings. Watch me sell some puts on GameStop and get way more shares than I probably should. Thanks for watching, guys. Cool shareholder meeting. Thank you to Super Stonk and all of you out there. Appreciate it.